Welcome to Texas. We're down at South Padre Island on the Bay of Mexico. And we've come here for round 12 of Triathlon's professional tour. We've just been to Fiji for the Heaven to Heaven. And talking of Heaven to Heaven, this is a heavenly location as well. Very popular with the Americans. This is one of the great southern Texas resorts. And it's also the home of a new race, the Gatorade Triathlon. And as I said, round 12 of Triathlon's professional tour. You can just see the islands down on the right-hand side of the bottom coast of Texas. And this is just about in the middle, South Padre Island. It's not too well known for sports, certainly the sport of triathlon. The exclusive marketing, the event owners have come here for the first time, and I think they've put a great place. Unfortunately for them, the weather's great here in the pictures, in the prelude, but race day, the water was pretty rough, which forced them to shorten the swim. And telling us a little bit about that is Mike Pigg.
Mike Pigg, one of the premier athletes in the world. Mike, how do you feel about the surf out here this morning?
Oh, it makes it exciting. I always dream this kind of surf before a race. You have to do a lot of thinking during the swim. Usually it's a flat lake or something, and this adds a little variety pack to it.
Mike, you're having a great year, one of your banner years, but your stomach virus right now, is that going to affect you at all today?
Well, I've been dealing with it, and hopefully I'm on the way to cure. So I don't think it's gonna be a problem today. Feeling pretty good.
Mike, let's go out on the word here. Can you win this race today?
That's what I'm here for.
Well, Pigg only gives 100%. Whether he's got a stomach bug or not, he'll still go for it. This is the women. They're just preparing. They're looking on in amazement at this surf. And, well, you don't normally count them down. You can see this is just the professional men. There are only, what, a dozen perhaps in the race. They cut the swim from the mile to a half mile. I don't think it's a half mile either. I think it's virtually a walk, swim, dive up the coast road. But you can see the waves out there, the breakers. And they should have gone straight out, but they're going to have to turn right very quickly around that woman who's braving the surf. And, well, as the men get underway, the women look on. And, well, if Pigg was the men's favourite, the women's favourite certainly is the Australian McKeely Jones. And Steve T-Bone, he's down on the beach with her.
It sure is rough, and it's going to be challenging, but it's going to be like real short, maybe 10 minutes. So we'll get it over and done very quickly, and then the bike's going to be really tough with that headwind. Can't wait to get to that turnaround point. Same as when you get out in the run. It'll be like just praying to get to that turnaround point and finishing the race. It's going to be a tough, tough day, and a tough athlete's going to win.
Well, she's certainly one of the toughest women athletes in the sport of triathlon. And like the men, it's a fairly select women's field. This is actually quite a lot of other athletes here. It's an age group of race, and they've got 300 or 400 athletes competing overall. And in fact, it's also, we'll see it a little later in the program, but it's also a family fitness weekend. Exclusive marketing, the race promoters, they have this family fitness weekend about 12 times throughout the summer, all over the southern states of America. I think they go for 4 or 5 states, down to Key West. They had one last year, I remember. And they're out of Boca Raton. They have one there as well. So this is the women. They're well underway. And you can see how rough this surf is. I don't think I've ever seen a triathlon quite like this. The conditions are, well, the nice thing is it's safe. They're not very far out, so they can walk and do whatever they want during the swim section. But someone else we caught up with was Wes Hobson, another great professional.
Oh, this is going to be a real fun race. It's good to have a variety in races, and this is definitely going to be something. Not only are you going to be contending with the surf, and you may be even doing some dolphin dives the whole way down, but then you got the wind to contend with on the bike and run, and it's great to have something different. I think it'll be an exciting race.
Well, unfortunately, the weather's so bad we couldn't film much of the swim. This is the Australian Mark Lees coming out of the water first, 10 minutes and 29 seconds, right behind Wes Hobson. Pigg was down in, what, 5th or 6th position. Garrett McCarthy is also into contention. And a very well laid out bike transition area here. Lots of room, lots of space, no problem. Very easy to find your bike. This is Mark Lees going out through it. Of course, she trains, and I think she lives with McKeely Jones out in California. As McCarthy and Hobson get underway. Up the front, here we are, Garrett McCarthy, the Irish-American. He used to race for America, but he changed his allegiance a few years ago and raced for Ireland, the home of his grandparents, I think. So it's McCarthy setting the pace, Wes Hobson in second position. But for the women, not too surprisingly, she certainly loved those conditions. You can see the other woman walking up through to the last buoy, but this is McKeely Jones, the Australian. She does look a little flummoxed though, doesn't she? I think we all would, though, if we'd just done through there. Coming in also behind her, Kirsten Vula in second place. Sharon Sanders, she's at the back of this pack. So McKeely Jones, 12.04. This is Sanders coming out, 13.13. She's got a little bit of to make up, though. I understand she is a great biker. We've never seen her in Europe racing. We've certainly seen a lot of McKeely Jones. Just seen her on the Pro Tour at Bath, which she won, the Bupa Bath International. But a man on the mission is Mike Pigg. He certainly loves these tough conditions, and they're going into a very strong headwind, and it looks as though there's no wind at all for Pigg. So Pigg has just gone by Carrot McCarthy and Wes Hobson, and I think the other two are going to have to work extremely hard if they want to stay with him. This is the man from Ocala, California, leading the men's race, and for the women's, McKeely Jones, there she goes, and this is in second and third places. Looks like Joan Ali Smith just going through, and Sharon Sanders already making up some ground. Looks like Gina Simon there in fourth or fifth position, but it's still Mike Pigg at the head. They've just gone through the fairly protected zone, and they're now in the sand dunes of this South Padre. You can just see them, and one of the problems is the sand is blowing across the road, which is causing them a problem. Mark Lees here with, looks like John Viberg, another man. We've seen a lot of Lees in Europe. Again, John Viberg is a newcomer to us. They're bound in, fourth and fifth position behind Wes Hobson. He's in third position, should I say. You can just see him up ahead. Here he is. So this is Hobson, the 28-year-old, resides up in Boulder, Colorado, ranked third on the professional tour coming into this event. He's had some good races this year, and I remember he called me a few weeks ago and said, I've raced so much, I've got to take a break. He's had now, I think about 4 or 5 weeks off before this event, so he's well rested. Just coming towards the end of the season for him, and he really wants to do well towards the end. I think he's going to go down to Cancun and Phuket to race the last race on the Pro Tour. Garrett McCarthy here, the Irish-American, the 30-year-old. And like Hobson, he also lives up in Boulder, Colorado. Went to University of Southern California before he took up the sport of triathlon. Great swimmer, and you can see his stature. He generates a lot of power on the bike, but not quite as much as this man. This is Mike Pigg from Ocala, California, though he also lives up in Boulder, Colorado, so the first three are residents of Boulder. He's coming up now towards the turn point, and you can see he's gulping, he's gasping the air down. He's into a very strong headwind. I think he'll be very pleased when he gets to the turn. So this is Pigg now, just coming up towards the turn. Why don't we just take in a few of these images on South Padre Island. So that's just about half of the bike out of the way. And I mentioned earlier, this is a sport and fitness weekend. And one thing and the other, or endurance sports do, they put on a beach volleyball series throughout the summer. And one of them was here. They also had a beach run, a 5K run, the Zephyrhills 5K beach run, they called it. Some of the triathletes also went and had a bit of a run the night before the race. But you can see even the day before it was very unfriendly, very strong winds going up the beach, and well, the surf was up and they decided to run through it. So So that's it. That's the Zephril's 5K beach run. And well, becoming very popular now within the sport is the kids triathlon. And again, it was an event here for the children. Mums helping out, as you can see. And everyone thoroughly enjoying themselves. Nice little short swim for the competitors, 50 or 60 meters, 100 meters for the older ones. And then, well, this is a little unusual, a beach ride. And the kids are finding it pretty tough, I think. I don't think I'd want to do that. Mike Pigg and the other triathletes were on hand to give them a helping hand and also give them some encouragement. Obviously, kids need some encouragement. This is the overall winner just coming through. It looks like Chris Pennington, and I think he's training for the future.
Kids today, your whole family did the entire race. Tell us a little bit about your career.
Well, I've been doing triathlons for 3 years. I like triathlons. This Gatorade one was especially fun because we did it on the beach, and Mike Pigg and McKeely Jones was here, and they're a lot of fun.
Next year when we come back to South Padre Island, we understand you're going to try and do the Olympic distance.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, Cliff, and have a good year and have a good time back at school.
Okay, thanks.
There we are. That's the kids triathlon, the GTS triathlon here at South Padre Island. But let's get back with the main competition. This is McKeely Jones heading the women's race, and of course Mike Pigg, as they say out here. I thought only the Crucians said Mike Pigg, but obviously the Texans say it as well. This is Sharon Sander in second place, so she's making inroads, and in fact she passed and caught and passed McKeely Jones towards the end of the bike section. So that's a good performance by Sharon Saunders. Sharon Sander. But this is Mike Pigg, and well, as he heads back towards the final discipline, the run, we'll go for our final break. Welcome back to America, to Texas, to South Padre Island, round 12 of Triathlon's professional tour. It was a 1 mile swim, a 24-mile bike, and a 6-mile run to finish, but they had to shorten the swim, and you can see why. The surf was up, the surfers were out, but too rough for the triathletes. The men and the women, they both competed on the same course. Mark Leese, the Australian, was first out of the water after that short swim for the men, closely followed by Wes Hobson, Garrett McCarthy, and Mike Pigg. And for the women, it was McKeely Jones. Kirsta Vula was second, and the woman to look out for, Sharon Saunders, she was down in about 6th or 7th position, something like a minute behind Jones. But on the bike ride, as we suspected, it was dominated by the Piglet. Mike Pigg, Arcata, California, Boulder-based, really did take it on. Strong headwind all the way out, and Pigg suffered, as did the rest. McKeely Jones here, Sharon Sander, as they come up towards the end of the second discipline, the 24-mile. And Sander, here she is, taking the lead just before the transition area. And, well, Pigg was first into the transition area for the men, and he was soon out on the final 6-mile run. This is the women coming through. Looks like Paula Johnson now is in 3rd position. Kirsta Vula is in 4th position. But Pigg, well, he's heading out now on the final run. It's an out and back affair, so it's very easy to see exactly where you are on the course. Looks like Hobson there. He was in 3rd position back on the bike. But second out on the course was Garrett McCarthy. And you can see he hasn't got a great deal of work to do to win this race. He can see Pigg, and that's certainly one of the advantages of these out and back courses. You can see exactly where you are. Hobson here in 3rd position, and if he looks at the road, you can see them. They're all up there. The money's there for grabs. We've got, something like $20,000 at stake here in the South Padre Island race, and certainly Mike Pigg is going for the majority of that in the men's division. So this is Pigg. You can just see down the road just a little bit. I think the camera foreshortens it slightly, but certainly McCarthy is catching the Piglet as this race progresses, and who knows, we could have a sprint finish here. We haven't seen many of them in the sport. So it's virtually 3 miles out, down the strip, as they say out here, and they turn around, and then they come back again. So this is Mike Pigg, second in the Hawaii Ironman back in 1988. Garrett McCarthy, I don't think he's ever competed in the Ironman. Certainly very strong over the short distance. He's had a couple of good races on the World Cup in previous years. We haven't seen a lot of him this year. Saw him early on down in St. Croix, but whether he's taken a bit of a sabbatical for the rest of the year, but he's certainly looking strong at the moment, and you can see his strength is paying dividends at the moment. He's getting in touch with Mike Pigg. This is Pigg. Here's McCarthy. No time for this, but yeah, he certainly wants a little bit. Let's see what McCarthy does. He's having a bit of an intake of fluid as well. No, he's not. He's just cooling himself down. You can see the little bit of heat haze early. Well, we saw it early on, but it wasn't heat haze. It was sand dust going across the road. But this is heat haze here. It's the temperature's warming up. The weather's clearing up. Perhaps a little late for the race, but as it certainly played havoc with the organisation, but they've at least got the race on. Remember this organisation last year down in Key West, we had to cancel the race. We had a tropical storm coming through, and everything, including the transition area, was under something like 2 feet of water. This is the woman now coming up towards the end of their 24-mile, just about 40-kilometre bike ride, and we saw Sharon Sonder taking the lead towards the end, but it wasn't long on the final run, the 6-mile, the 10K run, that McKeely Jones showed us what she's made of. She's loves to lead. She loves to be in that pole position. She's done it enough. Won the World Championships twice, the ITU World Championships twice. She's been professional champion for the last 2. Here she is coming up the left-hand side as Pigg and McCarthy go down the right. But this is Pigg coming up towards the end. And, well, it's another winning performance by Mike Pigg. He's going to be the winner here in the first ever South Padre Gatorade Triathlon. So this is Mike Pigg, 31-year-old from Boulder, Colorado. 1 hour, 35 minutes and 5 seconds. Good performance by Pigg under these conditions. And, well, once again, Steve T-Bone is down in the transition area talking to Mike Pigg.
We're here with Mike Pigg, today's champion. Mike, it was a tough race. Tell us a little bit about how you handled the conditions.
Well, I got quite a surprise. I didn't expect Garrett to be the one pushing me out there, so I was going, what's going on? You know, there was another athlete, Mark Lees, who I feel was in better shape, but he just didn't shine today. The swim helped me out a little bit because it was a short swim thanks to the current and everything, and that was a favor of my hat, and it takes it away from Garrett. But strong on the bike, and he came up in the run and woke me up, and I had to really race the last 4 miles.
Okay, the windy conditions of the crosswinds from the sand dunes out there, how did that affect you?
Oh, that was great because cycling's my forte, and so I can use anything to make other guys hurt out there, and the headwinds definitely helps.
Well, it certainly worked for him. Second place, great race by Garrett McCarthy. He was only, 27 seconds behind Pigg, 1:35.32. So that's a fine performance by McCarthy. Second, that's right, you've got it. Of course, the normal high five as they do here.
We're here with Garrett McCarthy, second place today. Garrett, strong winds, a rough sea. You almost caught Mike.
I think the sea part's what really affected me having a head-to-head. I would have loved to go head-to-head with Mike because he's the toughest in the sport. But unfortunately, a wrong turn out of the water and a short swim let me a little alone, and he dropped me on the bike, and I tried on the run, but just couldn't get it back to him.
Those crosswinds from the sand dunes out there, how did that affect you?
You had to be mentally tough for those. It's easy to want to just give up, and it looked like a couple guys did because they dropped off quick. But I just tried to focus on Mike and not let him get 2 or 3 minutes on me.
Spotted coming down the course.
In fact, Mark Lees was third, Wes Hobson fourth, and John Viberg fifth.
Scott Shoemaker, 007.
There we are. That's the way to finish a triathlon. Scott Shoemaker, 007. Licensed, but not to kill, to jump. This is Sharon Sonder. She's in second place overall behind McKeely Jones. She tried her best on the bike session, but she's struggling a bit here up against the likes certainly of McKeely Jones. And I don't think there's anyone at the moment, including the world champion Emma Carney, who can touch Jones over this final run discipline. So this is Jones coming up to win, like Pigg, the first ever Gatorade Triathlon here in South Padre Island. 1 hour, 50 minutes and 6 seconds for McKeely Jones. So that, well, that extends her lead at the pro rankings somewhat. So Karen Smart, I think she's not going to retain that #1 ranking at the end of this year. Sharon Sonder coming up into second position, so that's a good performance by Sharon Sonder. 1 hour, 51 minutes and 37 seconds. To be in 1 hour, 1 minute and 30 seconds of Jones is a great performance. Paula Johnson here coming through into third position, and it looks like Kirsten Buehler in fourth position. Yeah, this is Vula, number 24, 1 hour 53 minutes and 3 seconds, 1 hour 52:56 for Johnson. T-Bone, he's with
We're
McKeely
with
Jones.
McKeely Jones, today's winner of the Gatorade Triathlon Series on South Padre Island. McKeely, tough conditions out there today. How'd you handle them?
Well, you know, the swim was really short and the bike was really, really tough, and coming back it was nice, and out in the run it was tough as I predicted, and it wasn't one of my most memorable races, but a win's a win, I suppose.
Surf conditions were real rough. How did that affect you at all?
Well, it was basically not much of a swim, but you know, you put up with the conditions, and I was just happy to race.
How about the bike? You had the crosswinds out in the sand dunes. It was kind of fun, but I'm sure that was somewhat of a challenge also.
Yeah, it's a tough course when you get those sort of tough conditions, and it really was windy out on the bike and on the run, and it was sure nice to cross that finish line.
Well, I think everyone has those sentiments in South Padre. So there are the final results for the men. It was Mike Pig, McCarthy, Lease, Wes Hobson, and John Weiberger down in 5th position. And the times are a little short for the Olympic distance, the standard distance as they're calling it now, because of course they shortened the swim from a mile to a half mile. And for the women, it was McKeely Jones, not too surprisingly. Sharon Sander, a name to look out for in the future. Don't know much about her. Paula Johnson, Kirsta Vula, and Joanne Ali Smith down in 5th positions. Well, how does that affect the professional rankings after this event? For the men, Welsh, he stays out in front. Bear in mind, he just won the Heaven to Heaven in Fiji. He wasn't competing here. Wes Hobson was, Lessing wasn't. And, well, with only the Ironman and another race to go, Welsh looks as though he's in good form, because he's one of the only ones of those top 5 who are racing in the Hawaii Ironman. Jones, she's going to give the Ironman a miss, but I think her lead is such that Karen Smars is certainly going to have to win the Ironman and win the final race if she's going to retain the title that she's had for the last couple of years. But of course, Latshaw and Ingram, they're also racing with Smars in the Hawaii Ironman. That's the next race on the TP2. Then the final race on the Pro Tour. We all go out to Thailand for the big end-of-season party at the lovely resort of Laguna, Phuket. Well, I hope you enjoyed our coverage of the Heaven to Heaven Fiji event and also the Gatorade Triathlon here in South Padre Island in Texas. This is Ian Sweet wishing you well. See you next time with the Triathlon Professional Tour.